What does it really mean to be a U.S. citizen? It seems like a pretty simple question on the surface, but the answer is actually rooted in a single, really powerful sentence in the Constitution that defines two very different paths. So let's break it down exactly what those paths are and what's expected once you're on one. So let's get right into it. What actually officially makes somebody a U.S. citizen? Well, you might be surprised to hear that the entire modern definition, the foundation for all of it, comes down to just one sentence. A sentence that was added to the Constitution right after the Civil War. And this is it. The entire basis for modern American citizenship rests on this single sentence right here. It was put into the 14th Amendment, and its original goal was to grant citizenship to millions of formerly enslaved people. And in doing that, it completely changed the game for who could be considered an American. And here's the magic phrase. All persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens. Boom. Right there, in that one clause, the Constitution gives us the two fundamental ways to become a citizen. You really got to focus on those two key words, born and naturalized. Seriously, they are the key to this whole thing. So you can think of it like this. There are two main roads to citizenship. The first one is something that just happens to you, citizenship by birth. And the second one is something you have to actively go after, citizenship by choice. We're going to explore both, and we'll start with the first one. Okay, path one. This is what we often call birthright citizenship. But here's the thing. Even this seemingly simple idea is guided by two totally different legal principles that have been around for ages, the law of the soil and the law of the blood. Okay, so on the one hand, you have the law of the soil, or just solely if you want to get fancy. It's super simple. Your citizenship is based on where you are physically born. If you're born on U.S. soil, you're a citizen, period, full stop. Then, on the other hand, we have the law of blood, or just sanguinis. This one is all about your family tree. If one or more of your parents is a U.S. citizen, then guess what? So are you, and it doesn't matter where in the world you were born. These pictures really show the difference perfectly, right? The baby on the left is a citizen because of where they were born. That's the law of soil. The baby on the right is a citizen because of who they were born to. That's the law of blood. Now, the U.S. recognizes both of these paths, which is actually pretty interesting, because not every country does it that way. So let's just be clear about what U.S. soil actually means, because it's a bit broader than you might think. Of course, it's the 50 states, but it also includes U.S. territories like Puerto Rico and Guam. And here's the kicker. It also includes any U.S. military base, no matter where it is on the planet. Okay, pop quiz time. Let's see if you've got this. Let's say Chloe is born in Alaska. Both of her parents are citizens of Spain. So, is Chloe a U.S. citizen? Think about that law of soil. The answer is a definite yes, absolutely. Because Chloe was born in Alaska, which is U.S. soil, it doesn't matter one bit where her parents are from. Under the law of soil, location is everything. All right, so that pretty much covers birthright citizenship. But what about all the people who weren't born citizens but decide they want to become one? Well, that brings us to path number 2, citizenship by choice. And this whole path has a specific, official name. It's called naturalization. It's the formal, legal process set up by the government for an immigrant to apply for and, hopefully, be granted citizenship. Now, this process is no joke. It is rigorous, and it's got several major steps. First, you have to live in the U.S. legally as a permanent resident, that's a green card holder, for at least 5 years. Then you have to prove you have good moral character, which involves a whole background check. After that, you've got tests on your English skills and your knowledge of U.S. civics. And the whole journey ends with a really powerful final step, taking the oath of allegiance and formally pledging your loyalty to the United States. Okay, so now we know the two ways to citizenship. But let's talk about what it means to actually be a citizen. Because it's not just a status you get to have. It comes with a whole set of expectations about how you fit into society. And our source material here breaks this down so well into two simple categories. On the one hand, you've got your obligations. These are the must-dos. And on the other hand, you have your responsibilities, the should-dos. And believe me, that difference between must and should is absolutely crucial. So let's get into it. The obligations, the must-dos, these are your legal duties, the stuff you have to do, no questions asked. We're talking about obeying the law, paying your taxes, serving on a jury if you're called. But the responsibilities, the should-dos, this is the stuff that makes a democracy actually work. This is all about participating, voting in elections, volunteering in your community, and just generally making your voice heard.
So here's the bottom line. Obligations are the bare minimum. They're the legal requirements for living here. But responsibilities, they're the actions you choose to take that make society better. I mean, you won't go to jail for not voting, but if nobody does it, the whole system just falls apart.
So when you really think about it, citizenship isn't just some status you have, it's an action. It's not just something you are, it's something you do. And so the question isn't just how you become a citizen, but what kind of citizen will you choose to be?